Hello guys and gals, and welcome to another episode of Unique Items. So today I wanted to go over an item that I've talked about a couple times in previous videos, but I haven't actually done a video on it yet, and that is the Nightsmoke belt. The Nightsmoke belt is a very awesome belt, and I think that if you follow along with me, you'll understand why. Now, the Nightsmoke belt has probably one major statistic on it. Did I say belk? I think I said belk. Belt. The Nightsmoke belt has one major statistic on it that makes it absolutely amazing. And that is the damage taken goes to mana. And I have done a video recently on damage taken goes to mana, so if you'd like to watch that to figure out exactly what damage taken goes to mana does, I do have that up there. But I will talk about it briefly. But before we do that, let's talk about the stats on this particular item. So we've got defensive level 23, and we have a belt size of +8 slots, and that is thankfully the maximum. Well, two tiers up for a belt, and it does need to be upgraded to get you to the maximum of +12. But it's definitely a lot better than a sash. I was about to say it was maximum. It's not maximum. Now, this belt does have a variable defense of 30 to 50%, which doesn't matter too much, but if you were going to use this on a higher level character, it might be a good idea to grab it, the higher defense version. And they're not particularly rare, so you will find them fairly often. We've got +15 base defense on here, which is definitely nice to have, +20 to mana, which is very nice considering that most of the time when you use this belt, it's for mana reasons. We've got all resistances 10, which is also very nice to have. Damage reduced by 2, and of course 50% damage taken goes to mana. Now, why do I recommend using this particular belt? The reason why I recommend using this belt is for a lot of characters who get in the thick of it. Those characters who are melee characters, those characters who are in there getting beat up on a regular basis. And the reason is because how this works is when a monster hits you, say for 10 damage, 50% of that damage will be taken and given to your mana. And they really kind of word this improperly. So instead of how it's worded, damage taken goes to mana, they should have written damage taken generates mana. Because it doesn't go to mana, it generates mana. So if I take 10 damage, I still take 10 damage. It doesn't matter if I have this on or not. I will always take 10 damage. But 5 of that 10 damage will then turn into mana, and I will then take 10 damage and gain 5 mana. And that is essentially how damage taken goes to mana works. And if you want a more detailed explanation, like I said, I do have a video up on that. Now, why is this so good? Well, because when you're a melee character, like a barbarian, a paladin, maybe you're a melee Amazon, whatever it happens to be, if you're in there in the thick of it and you're getting beat up on a regular basis, you need mana to cast your abilities. As a Zeal Paladin, you only have like 2 mana. It only costs like 2 mana for Zeal. And 50% damage taken goes to mana will pretty much solve your mana issues for a very long time on Paladin. It will solve your mana issues for a very long time on Barbarian. And it will solve your mana issues for a very long time on a Druid. 50% damage taken goes to mana is actually amazing, and it's one of the belts that I recommend using on many, many, many low-level characters. Granted, once you get your character to a higher level and you've solved your mana issues, it's no longer needed, but it's a massive amount of damage taken goes to mana. And sorceresses, Amazons that use a bow, any character that's ranged, you're not going to get beat up very often, and damage taken goes to mana doesn't really help you very much. When you're in the thick of it and you're getting beat, of course you're going to get some mana, but generally you don't build those characters very tankily, and why would you? Why would you? Because you're more of a backline kiter. So when you take a look at this belt, consider this belt as a choice for some of your melee characters, because honestly, it is the 50% damage taken gun really is amazing for melee characters, and we are going to upgrade this belt. So we are going to upgrade this belt at least 1 tier. This is actually a pretty good option for a 1-tier upgrade. And to do this, you need a Ral rune. I believe it's a Soul rune. and a perfect diamond. I could be wrong on this, but I'm just gonna go with it and pretend I'm correct. And I'm not. So let me look it up real quick, shall I? Wait a minute, I remembered. It's shale. I want to say it's shale towel. Now that I remember, shale towel, perfect diamond. Haha! I remembered. And now we have a defense of 73, and we have a level requirement of level 30. Not that big of a bump from the nightmare version to the the normal version to the nightmare version. And what do we get for it? Well, we get an increased defense, and we also get max potion slots. So now that we have our max potion slots on this belt, it becomes a little bit more useful. Which is actually pretty cool. So so keep in mind, Nightsmoke belt, when you're thinking about, hey, it doesn't have enough potion slots, I don't really like that. Well, you can give it a 1-tier upgrade to get the max potion slots. And of course, the 3rd tier upgrade, I'm not actually going to do the 3rd tier upgrade because all it's going to do is it's going to increase the defense, and it's going to increase the level requirement, and it's going to increase the strength. There's really not a lot of good reasons to upgrade the Nightsmoke belt in Diablo 2 past the 2nd tier, unless you're really going to use it at an end game level. It's not really an end game level belt. I don't really recommend using it as an end game level belt. But let's say, for instance, you did. We could always work out the numbers real quick. It doesn't really take very long. So the belt in its nightmare form is the mesh, and then the upgraded form is the mithril coil. So the mithril coil has a total defense of 58 to 65, and we could work out the numbers relatively quickly here. So a 50% increase. So let's take the highest number, so 65 defense plus 50%. Will give us a total defense of 97.5. So that is the highest defense that this belt could possibly get. Oh yeah, we also have the flat defense of 15, my bad. So 15 added on that. So 112.5 on the defense on that. So we would get a difference between the mesh belt, an additional 40, let's round it up to 40, an additional 40 defense for having the Nightsmoke belt in its elite form. Unfortunately, the level requirement would go up to level 75, I believe. Let me just double check this real quick. Sorry, 75 is the item level. 56 is the actual character level that it requires. So so we would go up to a level 56 belt, and that's relatively high. And the strength requirement on this would go up pretty considerably as well to 106. Now, most characters usually get their strength up to about 156 to wear a Spirit Monarch shield anyway. So 106 isn't absolutely awful, but still. I just don't really see a good reason to upgrade the Nightsmoke belt to the 3rd tier. All you're really gaining for the massive increase in the strength requirement and the level requirement is 40 more defense, and I don't really feel like 40 defense is worth it. The belt slots already max out on the Nightmare version, and the Nightmare version only has a level requirement of 30, and I feel like that's still relatively low enough level that Nightsmoke is going to be useful for you on a melee character. Plus the all resistances 10 will come in handy as you roll into nightmare difficulty, and just in general, I feel like that particular setup for especially a paladin, I feel like paladins and barbarians really get the most use out of this, just simply because it helps you to maintain the use of those abilities like whirlwind, frenzy, zeal, vengeance, all these abilities that where you're going to be in the thick of it on a regular basis, getting beat up, and that damage might as well go to something useful like your mana pool. Anyway, as always, I do appreciate you guys and gals watching my videos, and keep watching.